What's up, everyone? Today I wanted to do some arm studies. I think these are super important, especially if you're doing like comic book style superheroes and stuff. And honestly, the arm for me has been one of the hardest things to get right over the years. I mean, I can get it like looking all right, but to really get it like looking superhero-esque and like muscular without it being too detailed and falling apart does take a little bit of knowledge, or it just takes practice, really. One of my favorite artists, Jim Lee, said he couldn't even really name all the muscles in the human body, especially the arms and stuff. But he had such a great understanding of shapes and how they interlock and interweave. And I think at one point he said on one of his Twitch streams that he actually studied Bridgman when he was younger. But the point is, you don't need a deep understanding of anatomy to be able to do it well. Um, I think a good understanding of shapes and interlocking forms and figures is really what's going to help you the most. So here we have, well, let me show you first. We got a couple of studies that I did. It's just the front facing arm, a little bit of the torso, and then more of a 3/4 angle with a bent arm. These are two poses for the arm that I found that I use in a lot of illustrations. So probably the two most used poses for arms. So being able to study the arm from this angle is going to help you immensely. At least it's helped me. So, and then this is just how you might shade it, how you might take a little line art that you learned, that you have drawn, how you might shade it. And really what I tried to display here is, apart from the soft blending, is getting your ambient occlusion down in some areas, and then not overdoing the shading, like try to keep it to 2/3 or whatever of the form. Anyways, I'll discuss that more later, but I just wanted to let you guys know how you might approach it from a line art perspective and then a painterly perspective. You can do both. Having a good understanding of the arms, the muscles in the arm, is really going to help you, whether you're a painter, whether you're a sequential artist, whatever it is you do. So let me jump to our references. You know me, I like to get my sprites in here, my sprite studies, especially for anatomy. I feel like the team at Marvel vs. Capcom just did it so well. You can see here, Venom. I mean, just look at this. You get the shoulder. I actually studied these sprites for a while, and it was one of the first things I did to study arms, and I think it helped a lot. So we got the shoulder. You can see how these deltoids, they insert into the upper arm, the bicep, tricep. You even got the brachioradialis right here in the middle. Then we have the brachialis. Then we have the brachioradialis right here, and the extensor carpi radialis longus. You have the forearm flexors, extensors. You don't need to know the names. What's important is, how does it look? How does it all connect together? You can study Bridgman, and I did when I first started, but I feel like I had such little grasp on anatomy at that point that it kind of just went over my head. I'm sure I still picked up a little bit from it. But look at this like heart shape here. Like, let me just illustrate what I'm talking about. So knock this back. Saturation. Just kind of draw over it real quick. Okay, see this heart shape that I'm talking about? Like, that's not something that you're really gonna pick up from any like technical anatomy books. That's just something that, like, studying the figure after a while and just recognizing that this is how you can push it. No, this is not technically correct. You're not gonna find this in bodybuilders or anything, not really. But for stylized anatomy, I think this looks awesome. It's like you have two forms of mass here. You got your forearm flexors mostly. You got the brachioradialis, which is like that large tapered shape on the top of the forearm, that big muscle on the forearm, and then you got your extensors, and then boom, they kind of taper off, and these are just gonna be like tendons and stuff, right? So it kind of just goes into muscles, into like bones and tendons, and that's how the human form is really all over. And that's really important to kind of, if you can get a grasp on that, it could just make your drawings look so cool. Like if you've ever seen David Finch, he's a master at that. He's a master at being able to show it through line weights. And anyways, his stuff is amazing. What else can we kind of simplify here? Tricep, bicep. Let's just simplify it into one shape. How about this, this? Okay, pull it out. What's it look like? This is kind of like the bicep tricep combo. Let's just split it in half. You got your brachioradialis, or sorry, your brachialis right here. Let me see if I can simplify it for you guys even more. I love simplifying things. It's just being able to do that, you know, it's taken me more expertise and more time than it has been to learn the names of everything. Being able to simplify something, man, that shows that you're a real master. So you got this giant forearm lump here, maybe just a little bit of elbow here. Okay. Bicep tricep. Just where the bicep tapers off. Let's do shoulder. So deltoid. Here's the front deltoid. Notice how they put emphasis on the line weights to where that it's like inserting into another muscle. That's how you see all the comic book greats do it. They emphasize that it emphasizes the tension. They put more line weights to where it's about to connect to another muscle. It makes everything look like it's like interlocked, interweaving, and everything's nice and solid and tight. So something like that. Okay, let's bring this up. Oh, simplify this once more. Let's see if we can get more of a grasp on it. Just adding little line weights to really make things kind of stand out a little more. Maybe easing up in some areas. Okay, so the big takeaway is interlocking, interweaving shapes. We'll just say this is the fist. Okay. It's like masses of muscle, and then you got like, as it tapers off into your tendons and ligaments, it just gets thin. And if you've ever read a Bridgman book, you'll know what I'm talking about. If you've ever seen his anatomy, the way that he stylizes it, you got like mass, and then it's like just tapers off into, because if everything's just mass and like super lumpy everywhere, it doesn't look as aesthetic. Everything kind of looks, it just looks like a giant marshmallow man. But when you have muscles and then they taper off into the tendons and ligaments and bones, it's almost like a hard surface into soft surface. Let me see if I can explain it. So giant, let's just say shapes. Let's just not even think about it anatomically for a second. Let's just say shapes. You got these more muscular-y, smooth shapes, and then it kind of, right, it tapers off, and you still gotta put in your hard surface somewhere. That's what makes it grounded. It makes it look rigid and solid. That's what makes the muscles look so superhero-esque and dynamic. So we got, if you don't have these anywhere, these like hard angular surfaces, then things start to look all puffy. Marshmallow, wait. So you gotta have these like these lines to indicate tendons, ligaments, stuff like that. Still keep your muscles, keep them smooth, keep them fluid. But if you're struggling with this, if you feel like all your muscles are super, I don't know, bubbly, soft, you're not really sure how to make it look like your favorite comic book artist, throw in some hard lines here and there. Throw in a little, I like to think of it like these lines. Like, throw in some more of these, you know? David Finch has a whole tutorial on this where it's like these sharp, angular lines, and you kind of just throw them down. Just like, right? You need some of these. Now, we don't want to overdo it. We don't want our whole musculature to be all these. I've heard some people say just do all your muscles like this, it looks dynamic. Everything just looks too hard in my opinion, and then they start to lose their standout flavor when you start doing every single thing with the same flair. It's got energy. This line has energy, but we don't want to just spam it, overdo it. We want to mix it in with some of these soft, more gestural, fluid lines, like just softer. These lines are not as aggressive. They're not. We're not really trying to use these for bones and ligaments or anything. They're more. This is like how I would form the form of whatever it is I'm drawing. How I would start it. You can use these light kind of softer shapes. Not going super sharp with them, but trying to keep them fluid. You know, these are flimsier shapes. And then you throw in some of these more aggressive ones, these lines, to really indicate, hey, there's some energy going on here. This muscle is contracting, or this muscle is really tense, you know. Anyways, that's enough of that. Let's get into some more. So you see here we have, sorry, what is this? All right. So we got deltoid. Really, it's just called the three heads of the deltoid. You got your front, you got your middle, and then your rear is actually being hidden. You got your bicep and tricep, and then your forearm. That's really all you need to focus on, and then you maybe indicate that you're connecting it to a hand. Okay. Take this. Really, you want to practice this mostly at the beginning. You want to practice getting this form down. Keep everything simple at the beginning. You know, always keep it simple at the beginning. When you start to get too complex, too detailed, that's when things just they lose that overall read of the form. They get too bogged up in the details. So let's just do a couple like this, a couple simple ones. Let's just work on the overall read of the arm from a front pose. Okay, so here's our deltoid. I always start with the circles. Okay. And as many lines as it takes, just keep it loose. You don't have to get it in one line. Like, there's no pressure like that. Bicep, let's just say bicep and maybe indicate the tricep. We're just gonna do a couple arms. They don't have to all be the same exact position. Just keep it nice and fluid. We're just gonna work on that front facing arm. one of the most common angles you'll use in your illustrations for your characters. Okay, this is the lat. This is pretty much, it would always start like right here, towards the upper bicep. Chest, this is where you'd see those tendons coming across. Look at the upper pec striation. Something like that. Don't worry too much about it. Then trap right here. Okay, let's just do a couple more arms. Let's get warmed up, loosened up, and then we'll get into some deeper studies. I got some Tony Silas references, which are really great. It's got great construction. He like breaks it down into these cube figures and just look at it. It's amazing. I want to study these. These will help a lot, I think. We're just gonna get warmed up real quick, and then we'll jump into like 30 minutes of studying, and then we'll wrap it up. Maybe do a couple more Venom studies. Let's just get warmed up. Warm up our wrists, our hands. These don't even have to be that serious. This is trying to get our brains warmed up as well for what it is we want to see in our arms. Feel free to push it. Push these shapes. See how far you can take it until it just looks off, and then pull it back a little bit. That's how I usually warm up. Let's see if I can make something interesting. See how far I can push things before they start to fall apart. Let's do maybe a sort of bent arm. We haven't really went over this yet, but like I said, just break it down into the simplest shapes possible. Front deltoid would be like right here. Okay, see how fluid it becomes. Now we can just add structure on top. We can add those hard lines and stuff. It's those aggressive lines I was talking about. It's cutting in, interweaving, interlocking. Maybe the elbow, we'll say right here. Just cut into that so it's a little less. The arm ends right there. Let's say brachialis, something like this. Let's see, how's the deltoid gonna insert? Maybe like that. Okay. This would be the. This would be still actually part of the brachialis. Again, try not to think about it too. Once you understand the basic concept of it, put that in the back of your mind and really just look for appealing looking shapes, even if it's not anatomically correct. The chest right there. Here's a sidearm that I spent some time on. Is it the most accurate? No, but again, we're doing a stylized approach, so let's see, how did we start? Let's start with a circle. This one thing that I've really found helps understand, at least when you're doing kind of more of a side angle or a 3/4 arm angle, is the deltoid, instead of just going like, you know, how you usually draw it like this. This is like the bottom point insertion. Sometimes it helps, you can exaggerate it, go like this. The bicep actually cutting in like this. Right, tricep starts higher than the bicep. So the bicep is always starting a little bit lower. Tricep higher up. It inserts into the back, like rear delt area. Okay. Bicep is going to start down here. It's a good start. What else? So if our arm is bent, why don't we just keep it simple? Just do this. Simple, one shape. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sides. Okay. So this is the thing that some people get confused about. I got confused about for a while. How do you make it look so that that bicep is 3D? So we just gotta that brachialis part right here. This is to indicate that it's pushing forward, and then just like a back line like that. Right? Maybe just the top, just the stylized approach I can do. This is really where the brachioradialis and that whole mass in the forearm, you know, that giant muscle that's like right above your elbow. Just kind of how that sits. And actually, let's see if we have a reference here with Venom. Yeah, it's like this tapered muscle right here. You can kind of see it. So I find that if you don't fully connect it like this, because this just looks like cut out, it just looks weird, fake. What you want to do actually that I have here is leave some areas, some open areas, and then just indicate it through like right here. Again, just kind of using these lines, these tension lines, these line weights to do a lot of the talking for us. We don't have to spell everything out with a straight line. Maybe this would connect there. Anyways, you can see I kind of went into it more here. Bicep, it's not just straight down like that. It's kind of show this part, just lift it up just like that. Okay, there's a lat. Tricep. A lot of people struggle with this part too. Where do we, it depends what angle it's at. Where do we put this kind of horseshoe muscle? Because it is 3 heads. The inside of the head you can't really see, so let's just think of it as artists for 2 heads. You got your long head, which is the inside head. It should be closest to your back, your lat, and your outside head. Anyways, just kind of throwing a line here and see if it looks all right. It's a good way to do it. If it looks like it's just too, it just looks off, you don't have to add a line. Basically, for the side angle, you're not really gonna see both heads of your tricep clearly, so you might see just a little bit of it. It's more when you're doing like a back angle that you're really gonna see like that horseshoe shape. So let's quickly do a arm from like kind of the rear. Just follow this Venom reference. Let's say this is the deltoid. Okay, so this is the tricep cutting into it. This, right? See a little bit of the bicep on the front. Finish off the delt. Right. Where's this, the rear delt? Yeah. Oops, I'm getting that wrong. Oops. Again, all the muscles, they kind of taper off in the tendons, so use those aggressive lines I talked about. Oh, here's the brachioradialis. There. Okay, forearm tapers off to bone ligament. Okay. This is just muscle mass. Alright. But this is that tricep head. This is kind of how you draw it from the rear. Most people think of it as a horseshoe shape. Right, so this is just tendons and ligaments that are going to connect into the elbow bone. So we kind of leave that. This is not like where any muscle mass is located. Right, it's the bone. Okay, flexors, extensors. this is just the bone. Where's this tendon go? Right there. Okay. What else? What else? What else? Okay, just getting loosened up. Remember, tricep always starts higher than the bicep. And if it helps, you can do this little bicep indicator here. Oops, that's too big. Here. Side arm. It's here. Very, very rough basic shape of the arm. Start it off simply and just refine it later. Always start simple. Okay. Let's not forget the elbow. It's wide. Okay. Keep it simple, keep it loose. Alright, moving on. Let's dive into some deeper studies. Show really how it how these forms, if you've ever read a Bridgman book, how these forms like interlock and how it's kind of like a chain. Sip my coffee. Okay. Oops. Yeah, this is like a perfect example of it. So I'm sure some of you, if you've studied anatomy, have seen that picture of like an arm that looks like a chain where it's like deltoid, right? Deltoid, bicep, and this would kind of be the chain. And then back to the, so it's like, what is it? It's like a, I don't even know how to describe it. Front facing part of your chain, kinda. And then side facing, like you very much see the side plane of the deltoid, front plane of the bicep, back to the side. Bridgman illustrates it really well. But we can see from right here, this is the deltoid is kind of on the side. You see more of it from the side. The bicep is a very, it's a wider plane. The deltoid, not as wide, but it's more I don't know, it's just angled differently, you know what I'm saying? Bicep, it's just angled differently. So let's look at this and let's just study this real quick. This is side. Really, that's what you want to get down. You want to get down at the bicep. It's not like this, like how you used to draw muscles. I don't know how you used to draw muscles. You need to, it's more like this. You need to show that the bicep and the tricep are kind of a plane that's facing on its side. This is back that. Anyways, back to the study. Tony's breaking it down, so I should probably introduce Tony. If you've seen him on Instagram, he's a great comic book artist. I got bought one of his like ebooks and looked at his Instagram for references. He's got great like studies, especially of these geometric type forms of arms, faces, all that. He emphasizes that breaking the body down, the human form down into geometric shapes will just improve your artistic ability like light years. So of course I want to study it. It's just great, and I agree with that. So let's just kind of see what he's got going on here with these arms. They're so Bridgman-esque, and you could clearly see the three-dimensionality of it. So let's see. Really want to, with these, what's the goal with these studies? We want to emphasize three-dimensionality. You want to follow Tony and emphasize that all these forms, even when we're just doing line art, we want to emphasize that they have 3 dimensions, which can be a struggle for some artists that aren't used to thinking in 3 dimensions. But that's what these references are here for. So I'm going to clearly spell out the different sides of these shapes. I can already tell that this is kind of off. We don't have to be perfect, we just have to make sure that we are thinking 3-dimensionally, geometrically. Let's do this part first, and we'll throw that brachialis on top. So I'm going to do the outline. See if I can get it looking decent. Let's do this. Okay. And then right here. So right here is where it turns on its side. So this is where the giant forearm muscle's at. Okay. Again, we just want to think 3 dimensions. And you'll start to notice in your own art, when you start thinking like this, like it just corrects a lot of the mistakes that you'll naturally make. A lot of the mistakes that I tend to make when I are corrected when I start to think about having 3 planes to each side. I'm like, oh wait, this isn't adding up. This side is not turning correctly, stuff like that. Go and refine it a little bit. So this is side plane, side plane. So this deltoid already way too high. Okay. It's right here. I love how he does the little part of the top of the trap. I always try to indicate that as well when I'm doing the arm. And it shows really that it's like 3 different heads. Let's see this. This would be the front deltoid. This would be the side deltoid, I suppose. And then the rear delt. Really probably shouldn't be able to see too much of. So we'll just remove that. It would be behind it, like this. Yeah, anyways. Continuing on. Remember this part of the bicep. A lot of people just go like this. I've done it before. And it's just looking like it's not as 3D. Remember, it has a top part too. When it first comes out of near the shoulder. So look, something like that. Better. Just keep making it better. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just keep making it better. It's the side. Let's see, how do we do this? And it's almost like like you're sculpting or like 3D modeling. I remember I used to do 3D. And after you do the 3D sculpt, you have to do the topography. So you have to do a cleaner, less cumbersome version of the sculpt for like a game asset. Because if you have so many polys, it's just not going to run well. It's going to be unnecessary space. So you have to do what's called topology. Sorry, not topography, topology. And it's basically just turning your form into as few planes as possible, as few quads as possible. So you basically just go over and you form these little quads all across your your sculpt, try and get it down to something that's usable in game. It's not going to crash your game because it's so heavy. So it's kind of what we're doing with these studies. Just some easy topology practice. It's really the same principle. You're trying to simplify it. It's all about simplification. Once you can simplify it, you've demonstrated a level of mastery that is only going to benefit you in the end. Okay. This, just kind of continuing on, following Tony's reference. See these lines turn, it shows that it's turning in space. Kind of not getting it completely right. Basically, you want to make it like quadified. Is that a word? You want to cubify it, quadify it, whatever. Turn it into just these quads, these four-sided planes. Fix that. His lines like that. More. Okay, looking a lot more 3D than what I had. That's the goal. That is the goal. Let's see it from the other angle. This could be wider. Beautiful. Just kind of go in. Clarify that silhouette, thickening up the outline. Let's make it look a little more appealing for our studies. And I want you guys to do this too. Whenever you're doing studies, if you have something that looks halfway decent, just go ahead and take like 1 to 2 minutes, clean it up, and put it on your socials. Not only does this encourage you, but it makes it aesthetic. People look at it and be like, hey, look at this, that's a cool study. Makes them want to study, and then it motivates you because now you got some of the hard work out of the way and you have social media content. Okay, easy peasy. It doesn't take that long. Let's do that other arm. Okay, the one that's in the background. We'll just quickly indicate like that a body is here. Right, and then we'll do the other one. Buff superhero dude. Okay. That. Alright. Other arm. Beginning. So how's this? Let's just start. Keep it simple. We don't have to start off in super technical lines. Just keep it simple. Start with this. Fluid. Okay. Even when you're doing like 3D studies, you still want to start pretty simple, right? You don't want to just start all bogged down with trying to get perfect 3D lines from the get. It just makes the study painful. You want studies to be kind of fun. We want it to mimic how we'd actually start a piece. I'm not going to start a piece like just drawing straight lines. Okay. There's that bicep. So we want to show one side of the plane. About the okay, tricep there. Okay. It's decent for now. We can go back and refine it in a minute. Look at that like shoulder, like it's like I think of it like a shoulder girdle. It's like clearly got a top part. This is the little insertion point for it. There's clearly like top planes going on for it, which is where the trap would go. And it just looks good when you know how to, when you really understand the shoulder and its 3D form. Hey, really looks good. So we're gonna follow Tony's lead. Do this. How does he have it? Like that. Slide out more. Okay, it's the chest. Okay. Remember, quads want it to be pretty boxy looking. Focus on quads. You can break it up into quads. You know you kind of understand, and it looks right, then you know you understand the shape in its three-dimensional form. Let's do this. Takes time. I still struggle with it. Let's see. Maybe like this. Maybe let's be like this. It takes time, you know. You won't get it right the first time. Just keep working on it. Flip it maybe, might help a little. Okay. It's the top part. Not good for now, move on. Like it. Actually, let's do the middle. Middle intersecting lines. No, because that makes it look like it's not in right perspective. Okay, there we go. Tricep. Let's do tricep. But I love doing these, especially when I can make a video and help you guys. It's like I'm doing this for myself, but sometimes I don't always do it, so it motivates me that I can share it with you guys, and then I get motivated to do the study, which I know I should do in the first place. So I'm just glad that I could share it with you guys and study together, grow as artists, keep growing, never stop. Okay, it's this. This, okay. Okay. What else? This. And let me know if there's any like certain type of content you want to see. I'm just gonna keep posting what I find interesting to study. You know, usually the human form, stylized. If there's anything you guys want to see, let me know. More than happy to take a deep dive into it. What's this? Let's see. Oh yeah, let's see the bottom part of this bicep. See how he does it. Nice. That adds a lot, I think. He's even got like maybe some inside of them. The tricep so big that it's seen from both sides. Maybe. These are superheroes. Why not? Let's finish these planes off. This is okay. Lastly, it's like a squished bent rectangle. Looks interesting. to squish it more. Okay, nice. Like here. And maybe I should also touch on female form real quick. It's kind of like the male, except just less overall. But there are some subtle differences. Let's fix this. Okay. How's that look? We can make this better. Just a little better. Alright. So let's put these lines in. Right, the whole purpose of the exercise. In the lines, quantify it. Yes. Here. About here. Okay. It should be, how did he do it? Should be more like this. I think. Not too happy with the top of this, but kind of confusing me right now when I look at his and I look at mine. That's how it goes. This is how you improve. It is confusing looking. Let's see. This is like that. If I did this, just quickly shade the inside. Tell my eyes that that's the insertion point. Flip it. Okay. Almost done. It's not gonna be perfect. It's a little long. Just erase here. Okay. Maybe it's the angles of these, maybe. This trap should really, maybe that's why. Alright, either way, I'm ready to call it there. Just make it nice and presentable, spend 1 minute touching up those outlines. Have them pop away from the inner details a little bit. This makes it look better. As we work for it, why not spend a little time showing it? Showing our appreciation for the nice study. And then we have something nice in case we feel like posting it. You don't have to post it, but if you do, now you have something nice and presentable to do so. Okay. Decent. Let me just match this. Let me just do that. Yeah, that's good. Okay. There's a little arm study for that. What else? What else? What else? Let me zoom out real quick. We have it from different angles. This is like, you're always going to see it from the front, usually the most common, I would say, because that's, well, most people, when they do like cover illustrations and characters, the character is facing us. So front, 3/4 side, these are all the most used. If you're more of a comic book sequential artist, you might do some of these back and 3/4 back angles. But you know, this is a good one that is also kind of tricky, so let's quickly go over this. Because this is something that trips a lot of people up. It's tripped me up before. This is kind of like an angled perspective. Both these would be real good. So if we got time, let's just knock out both these. Okay. So real quick, let's do our torso. Just a quick little torso. Alright. So not do anything crazy. Here's our head. Just a quick little outline to get us started. Reference point. Okay, so, and then we're just gonna go ahead and gesture it in. Because if we start with details too early, something's gonna look really off. I'm sure of it. Just start roughly like this, and then like this. That's one arm. Let's move it down a little bit. It's the other arm. It's more like this. Okay, should be longer. Let's just say he has a belt. Okay. Let's be the neck area. Okay. I don't really want to waste time with drawing the rest of the body, but it does help have a reference point. I always found that when you draw like an arm in isolation, it just doesn't have a lot of carryover to like personal pieces. Like maybe you can draw the arm good in isolation, but how do you connect it to the body? And it always trips me up when I have to. So it's kind of like drawing just the hand without like a wrist, maybe without the forearm sometimes. It trips you up when you come to personal illustrations. So it's a good habit to just kind of always draw the reference point of your, like if I'm going to draw a foot, maybe I'll draw the ankle and the calf at least. Alright, so shoulder. So this is his chest. Here's the trap. Say the trap starts mid-head. Say trap right there. Shoulder right here. Okay, arm could be a bit longer. Okay, so this arm starts from here. This is still the pec. Say, where's the lat end? There. Okay. Tricep. Now we're seeing some of the back, maybe the rear delt. Tricep. Alright, on the forearm. Doesn't have to be perfect. Let's see. Nice. What do we got here? Like this. Okay, nice. Just this forearm. Nice. Okay. So, remember, quantify it. So we're going to show the different planes, different sides. So this is how Tony's got it. Nice. This. So this. 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 Tricep. Is that horseshoe I was talking about? Like this. even thinner. And this elbow bone kind of comes out. Okay, maybe that bicep. Clean that up. Show the planes. So this is the bony part, like the elbow. It's not too perfect. Do our best. Okay, nice. It just studies. Let's see. Set this and with that. So the pec is kind of attaching it to the bicep. Okay. Just cleaning up as I go. As I draw, we kind of receive information based on the drawing itself. We'll know, usually our eye will pick up, like, oh, this looks right, or this doesn't look right. And just why drawing is a very iterative process. Just kind of fix as you go, as you receive new information, then you can make things more accurate, more detailed. Shoulder's a little too long. Fix this maybe. Let's see. Okay, fix the bicep. Okay. Let's go with that. It's probably not going to look as good as Tony's, but we're going to do our best. He's been doing this for a while. He's got so many of these good references, these geometric forms. He really is a master at understanding how to simplify the form, especially for stylized comic book type characters. It's just an absolute master. So mine's looking pretty sketchy, but try and fix it with the other arm. Try and do better with that arm. Okay, elbow. Let's try and make this arm look a little better. Let's see. Control set right there, shoulder. Let's get the trap down. Improve the shoulder. There's the pec. Into it. Let's not forget this pec. I always use more practice with this pose for sure. It's always gonna trip me up. Let's see this. That. And this one looks very nice. This. Two. That's this. This is too wide. Okay. What else? This. Okay. This is kind of what we do as artists. Practice takes time. It's not that fun, but try and make it fun. It's another reason why I create these videos, try and make it more fun to do practice. Do our best. And then when it comes to illustrations, it usually shows. Keep improving. Let's see. Alright, so where's this go? Okay. Okay. Let's really make this better. Okay. Let's see. Bicep. Nice. Love it. Love it. Okay, we got the shoulder, the triangle. This is three-dimensional shoulder. Same for the shoulder. Let's do split up the tricep, the lats, tricep. Even the bones. That. Okay. Maybe this is thinner. Better. Okay. What else? Get close. There's touch up the chest and the lines real quick. Make sure the chest is looking three-dimensional. I feel like this is also an area where people struggle in this pose with the arms lifted above the head, because the pack does change shape quite a bit. Maybe a little separation between them. Oh, and the pack really comes down like this, huh? Let's try that. Oops, right there. It's looking better. It's neck muscles. Just head. Okay. Nose. I'm not gonna draw everything, just let's clean it up. Let's see. These come like this. Alright, sticking up some lines. I like the right arm better. I think we got a better handle of it than the left arm. It's all good. Let's see this. Okay, this tricep. Just kind of make it somewhat presentable. Good habit to get into. If you feel like it, spend some time on it, it's decent, go ahead and just, why not spend an extra 1 to 3 minutes just making it more presentable. You never know who's gonna go back and look through it. Maybe you'll go back and look through it, and you'll be like, "Oh wow, this isn't as bad as I thought." It's really like share this somewhere. It looks good. For the longest time, I would just kind of do sketches and delete it or not save it. Kind of wishing I had some, even some of the older, not good looking ones. You can always just touch them up just a little bit. Doesn't take a long time. And then you have that like, in your sketchbook, wherever, digital sketchbook. It's just nice. It's nice to have. It's your journey, basically. Every sketch be a little bit closer to where we want to be as artists. Flip it. So it's off right away. Okay. Almost there. Okay. Just the bone. Especially on forms that are like turning under, like underside of forms, you can really add line weight. You can do like a little bit of this. Some line weight thickness. Just add some little, break it up a little bit, can kind of be more interesting than actually looking at the full thing. Okay. Work on the head. Okay. Beautiful. Okay, don't want to spend too much time in non-study related stuff, but it's always good to touch up your studies a little bit. It's never a bad thing. We're artists. We have that artistic eye. I think we're just naturally drawn towards wanting to make things look good. All right. Study if it's a little. Okay. And then this. Okay. All right. That's that. Oops. Let me increase the size of this. This. Here. Oops. Take this, cut it out, just paste it on top of itself a little bit. Alright. Those are our studies for arms, geometric stuff. Okay, so we went over form, interlocking, muscle, basically just call it muscle mass, interlocking into bones and tendons. Let's see if I can find some example here. So here, got the muscle and stuff, right? But you also want to show these these straight lines. It's like muscle going into tendon. Keep that in mind. If you need more examples of that, you can look at Bridgman. These Marvel vs. Capcom sprites do it real nicely. Look at your comic book artists, they all do it. Muscle mass into the, you gotta have the hard bony parts as well. It's not all just like that. Use some aggressive lines. Just that bicep, make sure that we get the right plane for it. That front facing plane like that. Try not to spell everything out, leave some spaces here and there. A lot of times it's more interesting than if you were to just connect the lines on everything. Then all the muscles look cut out and all look spelled out. You gotta leave a little room for the eye to breathe. And the mind don't fill in the blanks. So keep that in mind. Even if you're doing if you're rendering it and you're going painterly, these tips all help you. Look where I was able to put my ambient occlusion shadows based on these sharp kind of lines. This is just an example. I'd probably do it differently in an actual illustration. But yeah, just keep practicing. Always start it off simple, remember. It doesn't have to be, and we're not starting super detailed, like I need to have this, maybe Mark Burnett is able to start with those lines because he's done it so many times and it's simple for him. He's an excellent draftsman. But I would always recommend start it simple, start it gestural, and as simple as you can with as simple shapes as possible. Never really gonna let you down. Let's do this. Start it messy, start it simple, and you can always make it look good later. So yeah, guys, that's it. Oh right, one real quick thing. Let me go over some female. You know what? I'll save it for another video. We'll just focus on male muscular arms for now. We can go over female arms later. It's basically just way toned down, much more simple. But yeah, that's it for the video. Hope you guys liked it. Hope you guys learned something from it. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed studying and getting better. Yeah, until next time, guys. Take care. Peace.